What a perfect song.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about some heroes today. As some of you know, this is Black History Month. So I'd like to honor Black History Month by sharing some unity history in dealing with segregation and acknowledge a groundbreaking minister. As you know, Black History Month, also known as African American History Month, is an annual observance that started in the United States. It received official recognition from the United States and Canada, and more recently has been observed unofficially in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It began as a way of remembering important people and events in the history of the African people. Black History Month started out as Negro History Month in 1926, and it was created by historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. They chose to observe it the second week of February because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February 12th and of Frederick Douglass on February 14th. Now, Black communities had been celebrating those two dates since the 19th century. This was a celebration of recognition and importance, that is, to recognize and acknowledge all that the African American people contributed to this country. Now, knowing the history of this country, we can understand the resistance it received in 1926 when it was proposed. And even though the response was underwhelming, they did gain the cooperation of the Departments of Education of North Carolina, Delaware, West Virginia, as well as the city schools of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. And they all began to observe it and advertise it. By 1929, officials with the State Departments of Education stated that every state with considerable Negro population, with only two exceptions, had made the event known to the state's teachers and distributed official literature associated with the event. So it got underway in 1929. Churches also played a huge role in distributing the literature in association with Negro History Week. And the mainstream press and Black press helped to publicize it. So Negro History Week was then met with an enthusiastic response, which resulted in an increase in interest among teachers and interest from the progressive white population. So, you know, I always say as we grow in consciousness, we open ourselves up to receive more and to do more. Well, they grew in consciousness. That week grew in popularity throughout the decades that followed, with mayors across the United States endorsing it as a holiday. In 1976, during our bicentennial celebration, President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month. So it was no longer just a week, it was a month. He urged Americans to, and I quote, seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. So then it became more popular and it's observed today. Now, we know that segregation existed. It existed everywhere. It even existed in the unity movement. So now I'd like to take us through a little bit of the history of the segregation that was experienced at Unity and desegregation. Now, it took a period of time for Unity to raise their consciousness because, like the rest of the country, Unity practiced segregation. It took years for Unity to step away from city and state ordinances that did not allow for the mingling of the races. In the 1930s, when two Negro students were denied service at the on-campus Unity Inn, where students ate, Unity was questioned about that. And their reply was, it is not our province to force acceptance of the Negro race upon the public. We feel that we can do more to continue to help our colored friends by keeping a feeling of good fellowship between the races until full love, which we are teaching at the Unity School, can be established within the hearts of men. So basically, they acknowledged it at that point, but they still didn't do anything about it. The restrictions continued until a few people stepped up to remove those restrictions that Unity had on students of color. One person was a Black playwright named Garland Anderson. Now, he was fully aware of segregation and the restrictions that were still in place. He was planning a visit to the village, and he was planning to meet with Ernest Wilson, who was at Unity Village. He was a Unity minister. So when Garland Anderson was preparing his trip, he contacted Ernest and said, "I look forward to a meal at your famous vegetarian inn." Now, Garland knew that segregation still existed, but he was pushing it. Now, the inn was famous. The Fillmores were vegetarians, and the farm at the village provided all the organic vegetables that were served at the inn. Again, this was still during segregation, and Anderson put Wilson to the test. Dr. Wilson, again, a Unity minister and editor of the Unity publications, had to work around the segregation laws. And so Wilson had Anderson go through the line to be served at the inn, but then Wilson took Anderson and went upstairs to eat. So although Anderson wasn't allowed to eat with the others, he was served. And that was the first step in desegregation of the inn. One small step that led to huge results. Another significant influence on Unity for Blacks was Reverend Dr. Johnnie Coleman. Now, her journey to Unity started with a phone call early one morning from her doctor telling her that she had an incurable disease and only 6 months to live. And this is Dr. Coleman telling her story. She said, "As I passed the cocktail table, a magazine fell to the floor. I picked up the magazine, I held it up, and a line jumped off the page. The line said, 'God is your health. You can't be sick.' Now I'm standing in the middle of the floor arguing with a magazine because how can you tell me I can't be sick? And the man just told me I'm going to die in 6 months. Something is wrong." Now, Johnny's mother had been reading the Daily Word, and she had been placing Unity magazines and other materials all around her home, hoping that Johnny would see them. She told Johnny, "If you want to know anything about Unity School of Practical Christianity, you get on the train and you go there and you ask them." She said, "Fine, I'll go and ask them." I got on the train and went to Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri. When I walked through those gates, something hit me as I walked through, and I began to feel a way that I had never felt in my life. The place was so beautiful. The hedges, the flowers were perfect, and the little squirrels were sitting up on their little back legs saying hello. It was the greatest place I had ever seen. Now, while she was standing there in awe, one of the Unity teachers walked up to her and began speaking with her. Now, through her life and career, Johnnie Coleman was referred to as JC. So JC, as they called her, told the teacher that she only had a few months to live, and the teacher said, "You don't have to die." JC told the teacher, "I really don't want to die because I have not yet learned how to live." And the teacher said, "We will teach you how to live as long as you want to live." And she said, "This is a place for me, sign me up." So JC rushed back home to gather up her belongings to prepare for the summer-long sessions at Unity. She continued in the program, which lasted for 4 years. Remember, this was still during segregation. She was not allowed to live on campus. During her last year, she almost quit because she had car trouble and couldn't get to the campus. She was living in Kansas City, about 15 miles away. And because of this, because she almost quit, Her classmates petitioned for her to be permitted to live on campus. JC went back to the classes, but they put her in a worker's cottage at the end of the village. She still wasn't allowed to mingle and share the dorms with regular students, but they made their first step. She was the first African American student to live at Unity Village. Again, another small step, but very powerful. Now, Johnnie Coleman continued in her studies. She did receive her teaching certificate and became an ordained minister. She believed that not only was she being healed, but she was healing Unity. Now, here's another way that Dr. Coleman cleared the way for change at Unity Village. While she was in charge of a youth conference at the village, Black children were invited. When they got there, they found out that the Black children were not permitted to swim in the pool or dance with the children. And this is how Dr. Coleman describes it. When they got there, I told every one of them to go to their rooms and put on their swimsuits. When they came down to the swimming pool, I pushed them in the pool. Then I had a lovely statement and affirmation for them at Unity. Black does not come off in the water. It's all right. Be at peace. After that, they calmed down and the Black kids danced and swam with the white children, and so it was. Another step in the evolution of Unity. Now, are you familiar with the saying, it works if you work it? I know it's very popular on 12-step programs, but Dr. Coleman started that statement. She said, if it's not working, it's not God's fault, it's your fault. In order for prosperity, health, and peace to work, you've got to get rid of some things. You've got to let go of some things. You've got to stop gossiping. You've got to stop being jealous. You've got to let all of that go and realize that the same God that is within me is within you and can do for you the same things he has done for me. There are many other Black leaders that helped move Unity through its desegregation journey. Unity was in many ways the same as the country, but after the struggle through desegregation, they acted, oftentimes behind the scenes, to promote equality for all. Like any one of us, when we expand our consciousness and allow for things around us to expand, that same thing is true for Unity. As the Unity consciousness expanded, as they did not obey the segregation laws and allowed desegregations, the movement expanded. Today, you'll find Unity centers, churches, and study groups all over the world, which is why the organization's name are now Unity Worldwide Ministries and Unity Worldwide Headquarters. It used to be the Association of Unity Ministries, but they changed it to reflect the worldwide presence that Unity has. Unity ministers, licensed teachers, as well as association leaders are a diverse group of Black, brown, yellow, and white. Beautiful kaleidoscope of colors. Because in truth, the color of our skin means nothing. Who we are in our hearts, that's who we really are. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Black leaders in Unity history, you can go to the website truthunity.net, and they're featuring Black leaders. And I'll put that link in the chat so you can get it. Also, Unity just created a video. It's how Unity teachings support racial equality, reflections from Black Unity leaders. It's about 14 minutes long, so I'm not going to show it now, but you can view it on your own. I'll also put that link in the chat box. And maybe if you want, I can show it during fellowship after the service. But again, we are all here to expand our consciousness, to open up more and more to truth principles. We see this in organizations. We see it within ourselves. Unity is a beautiful example of the expansion of consciousness, and it reflects throughout the world. by our by our worldwide movement, which is all encompassing, all accepting, and has no limitations. So right now, Unity just created for the month of February a short video on the power of strength. And I am going to share that video with you now as we move into our meditation.
There is strength in me. My mind is strong. It is positive. It is calm. There is strength in me. My body is vigorous, powerful. There is strength of purpose in me. Strength of faith. Strength that helps me stand firm. My God-given strength enables me to be my best self. Strength in me establishes right values. It keeps me reaching for higher goals. Strength makes it possible for me to be gentle with others. God-given strength is in all people. I look for it and call it forth with faith.
So now I'd like to invite you to get comfortable in your seats as we move into meditation. Just allow yourselves to sit back, relax, close your eyes. Remove anything that may be on your lap and put your feet flat on the floor. With every breath you take, you feel yourselves becoming more and more relaxed. You check into your boat with your body, and if there's any area that's feeling tight or that's under stress, you just breathe into it and allow it to release. We feel our muscles relaxing as we continue to relax with every breath we take. We breathe out stress, and we breathe in peace. We breathe out fear, and we breathe in love. This love that we are exudes from our heart and fills our entire body with the presence of the love that we are and the awareness of the presence of love that we are. The 12 powers exist within each and every one of us. And I allow the power of strength to support me as I go through my days. I know that there still exists discrimination in the world. And I know there are areas of the world that still participate in segregation. I allow the power in strength, the power of strength and of faith to support me when I face these things. These powers support me to speak my truth, to take right action, to help stop inequality, to combat racism, anti-Semitism, and any discrimination that still exists. The power of strength within me and my strong faith guide me and reassure me that I can handle anything that comes my way. The Christ in me guides me, moves through me, and directs my every action. There is strength in me. My mind is strong, it is positive, it is calm. There is strength in me. The strength of faith, the strength that helps me stand firm. My God-given strength enables me to be my best self. And the strength in me establishes right values. It keeps me reaching for higher goals. And that strength makes it possible for me to be gentle with others and with all people. I look for the power of strength and I call forward it. I call it forward with faith, knowing that it is ever present within me. So now I allow myself to move deeper and deeper into the silence, and I just listen. And now I bring to mind anyone who may be in need of prayer, all those on our unity prayer list and all those on silent unity. We affirm that there's a power and presence within them that will see them through any difficulty that they are experiencing. We affirm the power, strength, and faith within them and know that they are being supported, guided, loved during whatever difficulty they are experiencing. We know this to be true for them, and we know this to be true for ourselves. As we extend this love and support and offer prayers for the entirety of humankind. And with this glowing center within me, with this faith, with this love, with this joy of knowing the truth of who I am and extending that love to all, I now allow myself to bring my consciousness back into my body, back into this room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And welcome back. And this is the time during our service where we have the opportunity to give.